It's Tuesday, December 10, and it's 15 days to Christmas. U.S. Embassy clarifies misunderstanding caused by Professor Ellis's statement carried in local media, and government begins nationwide exercise to educate Guyanese on the Constitution. Welcome to InfoHub. A statement from the United States Embassy in Guyana clarifies that comments reported by Guyana's online and print dailies were written by Professor Ellis last April before his employment with the U.S. State Department and in no way reflect an official position. It stated that the outcome of the election is for the people of Guyana to decide. In this regard, the only interest of the United States is in free, fair, and peaceful elections on March 2. The U.S. Embassy in Guyana says it regrets any misunderstanding caused by Professor Ellis's dated comments. As part of its constitutional reform efforts, the government, through the Office of the Prime Minister, has begun a nationwide exercise to educate Guyanese about the Constitution.
Headed by Coordinator of the Department of Governance at the Office of the Prime Minister Tamara Khan, the exercise was taken to Region 2, first at Walkabout Secondary and then to Abram Zoul Secondary.
It is felt by the Honorable Prime Minister and the Government of Guyana that the Constitution of Guyana is a document that is relevant to every citizen. And so we have to start a process of education on the document.
Khan explained aspects of the Constitution to students and teachers separately. She focused also on human rights laws, sharing with them key pieces of the legislation they should be familiar with.
It's thick and it can be very, the wording can be very technical. And so one of the processes of constitutional reform may well seek to simplify the language so that everyone can handle the document with ownership and comfort, right? So I'm here to start that engagement with you.
Both students and teachers expressed their gratitude for the session.
She shared a little bit of the rights of an individual.
I feel very good and that because I never known about my rights as an individual for myself. And I feel excited to learn about it.
I learned a lot about the Constitution and about the rights of citizens and countries, etc. The session that happened today was quite encouraging. I think that person should really consider what was taught.
Next step forward is that we will propagate it. We will share it among people here in Walkabout so that they can be aware of the Constitution of the Cooperative Republic of Guyana.
Similar exercises have begun in indigenous communities. Felicia Valenzuela, InfoHub.
Some major news: Guyana's overall ranking on the 2019 United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, has improved, moving from 125 in 2018 to 123 in the 2019 report. The report is titled Beyond Income, Beyond Averages, Beyond Today: Inequalities in Human Development in the 21st Century, and was released on Monday by the UNDP in Bogota, Colombia. Guyana showed overall improvements in several socioeconomic areas, with 96% of the country's 744,000 population using improved drinking water sources, while 86% is using improved sanitation facilities. The Guyana Water Incorporated has made major strides over the past few years in providing potable water across the country, including first-time access in many hinterland and remote communities. The report also estimates the adult literacy rate to be 85.6%. More on this story can be read on our website, dpi.gov.gy. Minister within the Ministry of Communities, the Honorable Annette Ferguson, today clarified that the coalition government has developed, allocated, and made more lands available to Guyanese.
In an effort to address the backlog of house lots, which is in excess of 50,000, Minister Ferguson, during a press conference, said the Housing Department has been visiting regions and allocating lands where available, namely Regions 1, 2, 5, and 6. The exercise, she noted, has been fruitful since there are applications which date back to the early 1990s.
The new process encourages and allows for persons to stay within their means. We have not imposed on anyone. That is to say, we make the applicant aware of all possible options available, be it a housing unit or land which falls within their affordability.
The government, Minister Ferguson noted, has spent $2.9 billion on construction and upgrade of roads and $2.7 billion on the provision of electricity, with an approximate cost of $16 million expended for the development of infrastructure in housing areas. According to the minister, while the previous administration was in office, they failed to develop and allocate house lots, and in some cases, deceived many Guyanese who were desperate to become homeowners.
Of the total amount of house lots which the previous administration boasts about developing, there was no provision for infrastructure for some 28,000, which amounts to more than half of the total. About half of the house lots developed by Mr. Jaglio's PPP did not have any infrastructure. There are people who paid large sums of monies in full for lands they could not even see.
The minister said that under the coalition government, persons who have been awaiting allocation in areas such as Cummins Lodge, Stewartville, and sections of Covent Gardens for years were provided with their lots. Isaiah Braffett for InfoHub.
Following support from the Ministry of Agriculture, the Hope Estate is now back on track, with its coconut nursery being dubbed as one of the best in the Caribbean.
The estate has expanded to 3,000 acres with 860 acres for rice cultivation, 930 acres for cash crops, and about 200 acres dedicated to livestock rearing. Some 298 small farmers are also beneficiaries at the Hope Estate. General Manager Ricky Rupchan said the coconut nursery began with 5 beds and 150 seedlings per replication, that is, every 3 months. However, with support from the Ministry of Agriculture and the Caribbean Agricultural Research and Development Institute, that number has jumped to 84 beds with 10,000 seedlings per year, or 25,000 every replication.
With support from the Ministry of Agriculture, especially the Minister, the Honorable Noel Holder, he has a vision of seeing this estate become sustainable, and we are working towards that goal. It does have the potential to sustain itself, and we are trying to wean it from government subvention.
The general manager said under the previous administration, the estate had poor drainage and irrigation systems and other crippling infrastructure that hindered the farmers from reaping the full benefits. The estate is set to receive an excavator and a tractor from the Ministry of Agriculture to boost its operations. Shaquille Bourne for InfoHub.
Minister within the Ministry of Indigenous Peoples Affairs, the Honorable Valerie Garrido-Low, believes that the indigenous fashion industry could be big business in Guyana. She expressed this sentiment as she opened earlier today the first of its kind, a 3-day workshop for indigenous fashion designers. The workshop is being conducted under the purview of the National Tushhouse Council, NTC, with support from the Canadian High Commission. The training will be facilitated by Angela de Montagny, and participants drawn from the 10 administrative regions will be engaged in training that will help them better their skills and maximize their potential in the field. Minister Garrido-Low noted that there is a lot of scope for local indigenous designers and urged the designers to pay attention to neatness and the sizes of clothing they produce.
Fashion is something that humans are, natural to human beings. And as we progress, as we come into the modern world, then we change our fashion. We look at environment, we look at weather, and all these things.
The minister said while Guyanese are prone to using Western fashion, the development of an indigenous fashion industry can be big business in Guyana.
My dream and my wish is to see the indigenous fashion design grow so huge that we will be modeling our people and our designs. Our people will be modeling our designs, your designs, internationally. That's the aim. That's where you should aim. Internationally. Don't stop here.
She mentioned too the opportunities that can derive from the number of visitors that will come to Guyana because of the oil and gas industry, noting that the local designers can produce for the visitors. Meanwhile, Canadian High Commissioner to Guyana, Her Excellency Lillian Chatterjee, in her remarks noted that the workshop offers a unique opportunity for the two countries to share and honor the unique heritage of the indigenous peoples through fashion.
This workshop is very timely as it provides an opportunity to help you to build your fashion talent and entrepreneurial capacities so that you are better equipped to tap into the wider fashion market. It also serves as an opportunity for you to strengthen your communities, especially since Guyana was awarded the top spot as #1 ecotourism destination in the world.
Tushao Mario Hastings, representing the NTC, said the council is grateful for the support received and urged the participants to make full use of the opportunity to improve their products. When the news returns, Republic Bank donates $500,000 to Steel Pan Builders Workshop and needs assessment conducted for recent Ben Street fire victims. Details of these stories and more after the break. Thanks for staying with us. The Steel Pan Builders Workshop received a well-deserved boost in the form of a $500,000 check on Monday, compliments of the Republic Bank.
Yannette Greaves, Manager of Information Technology and e-Support of Republic Bank, handed over the check to Minister of Social Cohesion, Honorable Dr. George Norton, in the boardroom of the Department of Social Cohesion, Culture, Youth and Sport. The donation is in aid of the 4-day Steel Pan Builder Workshop, which began on Monday, to train 8 persons in the basis of steel pan construction. Communications and Public Relations Officer of Republic Bank, Janelle Damet, said the organization is pleased with the development that has occurred over the past 11 years and will continue to show its support in tangible ways.
Today's presentation is our commitment and continued commitment to our communities, continued commitment to the steel pan art form and to culture, whereby we are providing the opportunity for a new group of persons in the fraternity to learn steel pan building.
Minister Norton noted that the support from the bank has allowed for the continuation of the workshop series.
What is important to note is that it's going to empower young Guyanese to get involved in the creative industries. And not only would that provide a change in probably their economic fortunes, but it would see a contribution to national development.
The workshop comprises the Republic Bank Pan Minor Music Literacy Camp and a Rangers Workshop. Maria Joseph is the lead facilitator. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
Minister within the Ministry of Communities with responsibility for housing, the Honorable Annette Ferguson and the team has visited the recent Ben Street fire victims and conducted a needs assessment.
Minister Ferguson told InfoHub that members of her team will be preparing care packages which will include food items, clothing, among other necessities for the affected residents. Following a query from resident Crystal Piera whether she will be eligible to receive a turnkey home, Minister Ferguson said that this and other matters will be discussed with her team.
I wouldn't be able to provide an immediate response to that, right? The request for the turnkey houses, right? But what I know for sure is that myself and team, the management team, will be meeting on Tuesday. We'll be meeting on Tuesday. So perhaps during our meet, I will be able to make representation to see how best we can be able to, assist you.
Other fire victims were encouraged to replace their documents, including land titles and passports. The fire of unknown origin reportedly started around 5 a.m. on Friday last and quickly spread to surrounding houses. Luckily, all of its occupants escaped unharmed. Neola Damon, InfoHub.
That's all for today. Connect with us on WhatsApp, Facebook, and YouTube. Much more news is on our website, dpi.gov.gy, and pop over to Instagram for the latest photo updates at DPI Guyana. Your bridge and weather reports are up next. Goodbye.